Pickup truck plus SUV talk, and yeah, just me tonight. No 5'1" in the world. She is off doing something with somebody being married and something going on. I don't care. But I'm here tonight. I'm here for you, and I'm all ready for you. I got my Star Wars short PJs on. I got the white socks with Crocs. So I have the old man brewing tonight. So you guys are welcome for that. I got a fresh glass of whiskey. I got a big bottle of water because hangovers no fun when you get older. That's what's happening. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on for you tonight, and I thought let's just do solo Tim Mio. Talk about some things. I want to get to something real fast before we get too far in this live stream, as I slow down my speech. I posted a picture on my personal Facebook page. There was a video I put out earlier today from Super Rigs event I went to in Gillette, Wyoming. Check it out. It's my trucks. It's kind of cool. I did the video a little differently. I did a lot of just footage with some music because I didn't really know what I was looking at. I set up for your viewing pleasure, killing an afternoon. There's a great little video. And somebody had commented, they said, maybe the video's not doing that well. Somebody said, well, maybe your title is not right. Maybe you can look at doing your title differently. Do you want any feedback? And I'm like, you know what, guys? Feedback is always appreciated. Always give me feedback. YouTube's a weird animal. It's like you throw stuff at the wall and you hope it sticks. Then sometimes it doesn't stick, and you're like, "What the hell happened?" Like I could do 2 videos in a row, and one video does really well. I'll do the same video again, and just slightly different topics, like different thumbnail, whatever, and it doesn't do as well. So if you have feedback, let me know. I'm always I listen to it. I take it in with a grain of salt as per usual, and I adjust from there. And so that's always something to give me feedback. I am actively and trying, and I am working on this to speak slower. I am working on that. That is a common complaint. I also did order, this is losing my man card, but I did order some skincare cream today for my redness in my face. So hopefully that goes away in the comments too. But so I am actively working on those things. If you see something feedback-wise, thumbnail, title you don't like, comment. I'm totally open to changing stuff. It's for me, it's all about getting information to you as best that you can take it and as best as you can find it. And so if I'm putting information out there that you can't find for a variety of reasons, whatever, let me know, because I want to make sure you have the information you need to be an informed consumer. I've said it many different times on different live streams and podcasts. My goal is not to make $1 million. I don't need to do that. My goal is to have you be informed consumers. When you go to buy a vehicle or you do whatever with a truck, you're going to buy the one that fits your needs just perfectly, and you're going to feel satisfied with your decision, and great. And I don't make a dime off of your sale of your truck. Whatever you buy, I don't make a dime. I don't care what you buy, but I want you to be an informed consumer. That's important to me. So I wanted to get to a couple topics that I had on top of my mind before we get topics on top of your mind, because J Ray has a really interesting. He's got some theories going on here. We're gonna get J Ray's theories here in a little bit, but something came up this week in the channel. So Jill and I talk a lot. We have a Google chat room. We talk back and forth about different things as you expect. And I ran the. I'm gonna go to the homepage here, pull it up. We did the 2023 Q2 truck sales, which, by the way, you guys watched the crap out of the video. I was not anticipating you guys watching that video, and there was I don't know, it was like 10,000 views immediately, something like that. I mean, you guys really want to know who the truck sales king is, and wow, that was pretty entertaining. I was rather blown away. And those truck sales, by the way, if you on pickuptrucktalk.com, and if you're watching this live stream, there's a little bit of data on top. I'm going to scroll over. We use WordPress as a background, so that's what you're seeing. And I didn't log out, so I apologize for that. Usually I log out and it's all clean for you guys. But if you scroll down, I have a bunch of commentary about what I think about the sales, because I've been doing this for 12 years. I have a few thoughts. You get down to the bottom, and there's a chart, which, by the way, the chart was wrong in the video. Somebody pointed out, again, feedback, that I had Q1 sales instead of Q2 sales. So a little behind the scenes is that this chart I copy and paste time and time again and update the numbers, and I can move things around. But it's a good template that I use. And sometimes, like I did, I forgot to change the Q2 sales. And I should just say quarterly sales, last year sales, and just that way I don't have to change it. There you go. Food for thought. Things I can make change. So you can scroll through these numbers, and there's lots of information on here. And I did an entire video on this. But Jill pointed out to me, she says, she says, why do you continue to list the Chevy Silverado the light duty and heavy duty numbers separately? And why don't we combine them like other channels do into a GM truck sales number? Well, a couple things. It's kind of interesting. First of all, GM actually reports their sales combined in the investor calls. So they do a quarterly sales call with the New York media, right? The sales media, the people that they're doing the stocks, things like that, the investors. And I actually was invited to it, and I didn't make it because it's 6 a.m. my time. Actually, I think it's actually 4 a.m. my time. And I'm sorry, but listening to GM VPs at 4 a.m. is just not on my agenda. So I didn't make that one. But you know what? I'm going to do it. One of these days, I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to get on that sales call and listen to what they're talking about. And so I've been told from GM PR that they do list numbers together on that sales call. So that clarifying things. I haven't done a sales call, but I clarify. And from my standpoint is until GM combines their numbers in a spreadsheet like this, I just don't feel right combining them for them. You know, this is information they provide to consumers, and you can go on the media site and double check these numbers. If I combine them, it doesn't feel right. And so you in your head can combine them, and you can easily see the sales numbers. Ford F Series, which is how we list it, had 208,000 sales quarter two, and the Chevy and GMC Sierra combined have again, I'm bad at math, so 75,000 plus 140,000. 215,000. So GM outsold Ford this quarter, which GM has historically last several quarters, several years, has actually outsold the Ford F Series, which creates you can get deep in the weeds on this. First of all, it's Ford F Series, which includes 150, 250, 350, and 450, which I believe they don't sell very many 450s. The Chevy Silverado includes the 1500, 2500, 3500, not the 4500. And they actually have a separate listing for medium duty, which we don't report on because we don't do much with medium duty. And then it always creates a question, is the Ford F-150 the best-selling truck in America? Best-selling vehicle, actually, in America? Because this comes up, well, if you guys are truck fans, you've been on different forums, different Facebook groups, and you've heard this before. I'm not speaking anything out of tongue here. You guys have heard this before and read it before. Ford F-150 best-selling vehicle. Well, it's sort of, in a way. Kind of, maybe. All right. So I had done this. Jill actually asked this question, and I had done this a couple of years ago, and I'm going to pull up the story. This goes back to, oh my goodness, I'm going to go back in time. I should need some music, like back in time. This was January 6th of 2020. Wow. Must have been a pretty dark winter that year. But I did a video, is the F-150 the best-selling truck? And I finally have the answer. And I guess I have the answer in a way. And this is my way after the answer. So I have a long debate here with myself, and I discuss why I'm laying out my reasons. I'll tell you on this live stream podcast my reasoning. My reasoning is this, is that GM has decided to list their light duty and heavy duty separately. This was a massive change. So if you think about 2019, and I actually remember this pretty vividly, the truck companies, manufacturers, are doing sales reports on a monthly basis. And there's still a lot of them that do. I think Hyundai does, I think Toyota does, Mazda does. They do it a monthly basis. GM and Ford, about that same time, decided to switch to quarterly because, Tim, monthly sales don't give us a really good, accurate picture of the marketplace. But if we give you quarterly sales, it gives you a much better, accurate view of the marketplace. Yes, that's what they sound like. So they separated out GM light duty and GM heavy duty separately. And so what this created was I could do a percentage. I could do some, math. And again, I'm a journalist, not great at math, but I could do some math. And I figured out that looking at the total sales of GM light duty and GM heavy duty, that percentage was about 25%. On average, the light duty versus heavy duty mix is 25% heavy duty and 75% light duty. Okay, which makes sense. If you drive around any sort of neighborhood, you see a lot more light duties than you do heavy duty trucks. And so I thought, what if we did the same kind of math with Ford? And that's kind of what my guess, because GM has told me that they're basically neck and neck with Ford as far as the overall sales mix between heavy duty and light duty. They've kind of told me, we're kind of close. And what's frustrating is that some bitches never give me data, and I can't get the data. This is I had such a hard time with this. So Polk Automotive gets this data, and they put together, and automakers can buy the data from them. It's competitive data, but Polk will not sell it to me. And I have friends who work there who've tried to pull strings, and Polk will not sell data to me. And they have data like, what's the best-selling truck in Dallas? What's the best-selling truck in Austin? Like, amazing amount of information that I would just love to know. Like, what's the best-selling truck in Oklahoma? It'd be amazing to know that information. And Polk, for whatever reason, will not sell it to me. So if you're listening, Polk, yes, I'm throwing you to the throwing you out there. I'm putting you out in a pedestal to target you to say, sell me the damn data. I'll pay for it, but they won't sell me data. So anyways, what we have here is we have percentages. So I said, okay, well, if GM's doing about 25%, let's just theorize Ford's doing 25% as well, which Ford may do a little bit more because they do a lot bigger fleet business. I don't know. I'm just throwing out 25%. So if you look at the numbers back then in 2019 quarter three, in 2019 year total and total year, 25%. If you look down at this chart, and I did RAM as well, you can see that Ford F-150 in that model year sold 671,396 vehicles, or trucks. GM trucks, the 1500 overall, sold 611,138. So $60,000 difference there in total volume of vehicles. So if you look at those numbers versus and the Ram 1500, I put the Toyota RAV4 and Honda HR-V in it as well. You can see where the Ford M50 really does kick butt, and it did kick butt. But does it still? It's always a question in my head. So I went back to here, and I thought about this again. So I pulled up my sheet of paper and my trusty pen and my calculator. And I said, okay, let's say Ford in quarter two sales sold 208,050 trucks, which works out to 156,000 trucks overall, F-150 trucks. So they sold about 156,000 F-150s. If I use the 25% number, again, it's not scientific. If I use that number, what do they get? And then I looked at GM, and I combined the Chevy Silverado with GMC Sierra, which is a 215,886 trucks. Ooh, bigger number. If I went ahead and took 75% of that, I have 161,914. So 161,914 trucks for GM, 156,073 trucks for Ford. Let that sink in there for a minute. Let you guys have some data there. So that was, I don't know. It's interesting. So is the Ford M50 still an amazingly popular truck in America? Yeah, no doubt about it. Is it the best-selling truck in America? I don't know. But then what do you say? Does GM create a marketing campaign that says GM trucks are the best-selling trucks in America? I don't know. I mean, does it make sense to you guys? You guys use Chevy. You want to hear like Chevy Silverado. You want to hear like Ford, and Ford's always, if you watch the marketing, they're always really coy when they say that. Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America. How can an entire series of trucks be the best-selling trucks? It's just ridiculous. It's like saying McDonald's sells the best hamburgers on the fast food. Well, is it the Big Mac? Is it the quarter pounder? Is it a double cheeseburger? How's it gonna work out? So yeah, that was kind of my rabbit hole with that. And there's a lot of comments you guys put in comments. Let me get to the comments in just a minute. And so I want to get to, well, actually, I'll go to the comments right now because there's one more deal on warranty I want to get to as well. Let me go to close that. I'm going to get to this last story in a minute. Yeah. So how much? So Bayo asked. I'm going to go with Bayo. I don't know. These screen names are funny. Funny because they're hard for me to pronounce. How much of these 2008 units were fleet sales? So that has always been a fascinating question, and there is no data. I can't get the data for that. The best thing I can tell you is that when I've talked to GM and Ford, they have basically said that their fleet business is the size of a Fortune 500 company by itself, just the fleet business. If GM and Ford sold just their fleet business separately, it'd be a massive company. So that kind of tells me that I'm going to say anywhere from 50 to 65% of those numbers are all fleet. And that's going to happen with Ford and Chevy, because I got a number. I got a statement from Chevy, by the way, from GM. Let me go find it. We were doing. Let me get the full screen. Let me give you some background information. I was at the Chevy Silverado work truck event, and they had said something like they own fleet sales, which I was shocked because the week before I was with Ford, and Ford was like, we own work sales, and I was like, I'm hearing conflicting stuff. And so the vice president of Chevrolet said this, which I didn't know the guy's vice president. I get this all the time. I have no idea. I'm going to sound like I'm a dick, but I meet presidents, vice presidents all the time. I don't care. I mean, the guys put their boots on and pants on the same way. So they're just people. Yeah. So it was Scott Bell, Chevy VP. Okay. So he said, so this is a statement from Chevrolet, and I guess I can't put it on my screen. Maybe I can. If I maybe I can get fancy. I probably can't. Let me tell you. They have the fastest growing high volume OEM and total fleet sales based on calendar year to date, November 21 to calendar year. I'm going to put this on the screen. This is too complicated. Let me get all fancy on y'all and take my redneck stuff out of here. And I'm going to crop it because I don't get, you guys don't need to see. It's a text conversation. You guys don't need to see all the text conversation we have behind the scenes. And I'm not trying to be rude. It's just it's not that interesting. You may think it is, but really, I don't find it interesting. All right, it's doing its thing. It's gonna go to here. Okay, and then I think I can put this in a window over here. Oh, I think I got this figured out. All right, and then all right. Oh man. Boom. All right. Let me take down Bao's comment or Bao. God, I'm sorry, buddy. So fleet commercial sales claims. This is Chevrolet's fleet and commercial sales claims. They're the fastest growing high volume OEM, which is the manufacturer, and total fleet sales based on calendar year to date, November 2021 to calendar year to date, November 2022. So a year long and rolling 12-month new registration volume greater than 500,000 combined. GM is currently number one in total fleet. He mistyped it. It's fine. In fleet registrations for model year 2023 vehicles. GM is currently number one in commercial registration for class 6 and below, model year 2023, based on S&P Global Mobility new vehicle registrations. Which again, I can't get the details. But yeah, so GM is actually currently claiming that they are the best, fastest growing high volume manufacturer in total fleet sales. There's a lot of small manufacturers as well, and they are saying they're currently besting Ford in overall fleet. Put that in your smoke. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know. It's an interesting comment. I mean, interesting statement. So yeah, I don't know. What do you? I mean, I'll let you guys dive into that one. Let that one gestate, live in your brain. I don't know, man. It is kind of interesting. It gets me kind of fired up because again, like Elliot's saying here, I wish automakers would show how many vehicles were leased for purchase. I think it'd be interesting detail. I wish we had more data. Like, what is fleet doing? What is leasing doing? What's selling where? Who's buying what? I want these details. And again, I can't. And I've asked about every different way that you can believe under the sun to figure out the data. And yeah, I can't get the data. And so I'm frustrated about that. Somebody said, knock 'em out, Dodge has more commercials than Ford. So I don't know if I can show you this. I saw this today in town, and I was gonna take in. All right, I'm sure you guys anyways. I'm gonna put in my Facebook because I do funny stuff on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't follow me or follow the channel, whatever you want to do, I don't care. It's on Instagram. There's these funny photos. I took them today while I was driving to. I was driving my friend, the wheelman guy, and you guys can hear a lot more of the guy. He's really got some stuff going on. Interesting dude. So let's see. I'm gonna throw this here, and then this one I'll throw here. So yeah. So this just cracked me up today. So I'm going to throw this on screen and hide the current comment and throw it. Boom. So this guy driving through town. And for those on the podcast, let me get a second. I'm having a little drink of whiskey here. Those on the live stream that can see this are going to be like, wow, this is going to be interesting. So this guy has a black tailgate on the back of his Dodge. And I'm using air quotes, Dodge heavy duty. What's hilarious about it is actually he took the Laramie logo that's currently on the Ram trucks, and I think that's, yeah, and he put it in the bottom right corner, and he put a big brake light above the license plate, which I just got close. What I thought was hilarious about this was Dodge has not been a Dodge for 12 years now, or maybe more than that, maybe a decade. And B, on the side of his truck, you can see the Ram 1500 logo. So, imagine a white truck with a black tailgate with Dodge spelled out on the tailgate. So I just thought, and he was an older farmer, and I thought, you know what? Change is hard, man. I get it. Change is hard. You hate the fact Dodge is doing that. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Yeah. So Elliot says Edmonds posted something I thought was cool. They posted the top 5 best-selling vehicles in each state. Was that an icy cars thing? A lot of times icy cars. Okay. All right. Let me get to the comments. But hold on, before I get to the comments, I got to show you this one crazy idea. If you hadn't seen this today, Jill and I were discussing this. We don't know what to do with this. Ford has a crazy idea that lets you drive off-road while standing up. It's on the drive.com. The drive did a great story. We're just like laughing about it. We can't figure it out. So there's a graphic here. It's a black and white image of a guy standing up in his Ford Bronco, and he's got 2 hands on the windshield, top of the windshield. Underneath his hands are actually haptic controls that let him do gas, brake, and I think some steering inputs for the Bronco. And this is obviously low speed, 12 miles an hour or less kind of situation. And they have this whole patent. And Lewin Day, who I've never met, Lewin, I guess how you say it, Lewin did a great job in the story and lays out all these patents. And there's some patent photos on the bottom that lay out their thinking. They're going to provide a limited set of vehicle control functions through a secondary driving interface related to braking, steering, or throttle of the vehicle. So yeah, those are on the windshield. Imagine you stand up in your Bronco, put your hands on the windshield, and you can go. It's basically like a video game keypad maybe, and you press right or left to go right or left. You press forward brake on that, and so this is interesting. Will it come to marketplace? I don't know. I mean, that's just the way that the technology works. I'm going to go back to the top to this image as well, because with the patent they had to lay out their patent so they could get things, trademark, that kind of stuff, so you couldn't steal it. But yeah, there's literally sensors and all sorts of stuff to happen. And then he takes the seatbelt off and he climbs to the top of puts his feet maybe in the seat, goes up through, the Bronco's got removable roof panels, stands up there. He's got a hand on each side, left and right, and he's driving the vehicle off-road. So like if you're going rock crawling or something, you could stand up and see which way the vehicle's going without having to use a spotter, would be kind of the idea. But there's just no way, man. I don't know. It's kind of cool, but it's also like, oh my God, how do you get to it? In today's world of lawyers and litigation, how would you get that through litigation? How would you, I don't know. Patents happen all the time. Yeah, that's not passing multiple laws. Yeah, no, it's and then Mao says he's standing up to get a better look at that Dodge Ram. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's rock crawl mode only. So it's very low speed. And do you trust it? All right, I'm gonna go to the top in a minute. Let me get up the top. There's a lot of questions. But before I get there, let me do one more thing. I wanted to ask you guys about warranty, because this came through, and Jill and I debated about running the story, but because it's very specific. So getting an email from Chevrolet, it says the 2024 Silverado Turbo Max, which is what they're calling a new 2.7 liter engine. They've had it for a while, but they renamed it Turbo Max. Arrives with a longer 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So it was 5 years, 60,000 miles. It's now 5 years to 100,000 miles. And they think it's a testament to the engineering and design that when Turbo Max and Chevrolet stands behind it. And so they've proven the truck's been the tough, dependable engine worthy of a Silverado, and the engine's Turbo Max powertrain warranty lasts 40,000 miles, longer than competitors' offerings, and matches the same warranty applied to Duramax-powered Silverado pickups. Oh, I guess I had a longer warranty too. I had no idea. Kevin Luchansky, who's been on the channel, Kevin is a great guy. He says, quote, as we've said before, we engineer Turbo Max to deliver the durability and performance expected by our truck customers. The result continues to turn skeptics into believers. Best-in-class 430 foot-pounds of torque and 310 horsepower. The whole team is proud of this engine, and this warranty extension exudes our confidence. Kevin, there's no way Kevin wrote that. Kevin's a great guy, but that's a lot of PR wordsmithing in there as well. So I just thought it was interesting. What do you guys think? Is that something that would matter to you? Do you guys? I remember when Nissan went after the best warranty in the half-ton business, whatever that was their claim. And I said to the Nissan PR team at the time, I said, I don't know. I said, it's interesting. I've never heard of people shopping for trucks based on warranty. And I know other outlets like, Motor Biscuit of the world and Zopnik of the world maybe would run stories and videos on the best trucks based on warranty situation, but maybe more Motor Biscuit than anybody else, or Hot Cars. Yeah, great outlet. Boy, throwing people on the bus here tonight. Good thing Jill's not here. So I mean, I could see them doing stories like that. I mean, it's searchable content. It makes sense. I even offered to Jill, why don't you do a story like that? I mean, and she turned me down completely. But yeah, I'm just curious if do you guys shop by warranty? Does it warranty matter to you? It was interesting to me. Okay, we have Junior from Aloha from Hawaii. Hawaii. Oh, I actually I've been in Hawaii 3 times now, and I'm not bragging at all. I'm not trying to brag, but I will tell you the last time I was there with Maui on the Maui side, that was the best place. If you're going to Hawaii, in my opinion, go to Maui, go on the west side, not the rainy side, and that to me was the best part of Hawaii I've ever seen. And I've been to Honolulu, I've been to North Shore, I've been to those places, but Maui was really that actually impressed me. The other places I went to were like I didn't really love it, but Maui was really impressive. All right, so J Ray, I'm gonna put this on the screen. J Ray, very interesting discussion he has going on. J Ray says, let's just clear the elephant in the room is the Ford, GM, Stellantis, basically automakers, stockpiling inventory in preparation of a UAW strike come August. That's a very interesting theory. And I told him, I said, hey, tell me you read too much automotive news without telling me you read too much automotive news. I mean, you're putting the pieces together on that one. And Jerry says, possibly what else there to do at work some days. But yeah, what an interesting question, right? So I was just in Michigan last month and driving by the Ford plant and driving by different GM plants and talking to people there who were driving us around. They're like, oh, yeah, we see almost thousands of trucks sitting around. I mean, they're just sitting at these lots. And what we call them is near builds, as my terminology being told, is that there are almost built, but they're missing one key part. And automakers, instead of like fixing those ones and shipping them, a lot of times they just keep building more trucks. They just keep the truck line going. I know several of my friends who work at different manufacturing plants have been pissed, to be frank with you. They want to get out there and fix those trucks and put the parts on and ship them out of there. And they keep getting told to go back and build brand new trucks. And it does make some sense to keep the line going because going back and adding parts is time consuming and it is efficient. And, stocks and the investors don't care about things being shipped. They want things being built. I mean, the truck line makes a lot of money. Keep the truck line going. I can see both sides of that. And I've had people email me to ask me if I can do some big favor and get them some sort of truck through the lineup faster. I can't, guys. I can't. I've gotten lucky. The ones I've done to get through, I've had it happen to me going on, I think it's probably 3 times now I've had a truck I've had to have trouble getting because of sitting in the deal lots. And look, I've been fortunate. I have a big channel. I have a voice. I get it. They want me to have it. And I feel bad for you guys who can't get your trucks because that's just frustrating to be sitting there waiting, and then it's told that it's in transit and your dealer is going, what's going on? And they can't get it. And the automaker's not telling you what's going on because they don't have the communication has just been terrible on that. And I think that's the biggest key is 2 things. I think, first of all, automakers need to hire a skeleton crew of people to go out there and fix those trucks. And B, they need a communicator at the plant who's actually corresponding with dealers and giving better updates. This whole in transit thing it's just too frustrating. It just needs to go away. You need to say your truck's built waiting on this part and say, hey, if you want to not get that one part, so for example, my truck, I couldn't get the fancy tailgate, the multi-pro tailgate, whatever they call it in GM and Chevy world. If they would have reached out to me and said, hey, we'll build you this truck, but you can't get the tailgate, I'd be like, or I have to wait 6 months for the tailgate. Okay, I can make the decision. But having this idea that's sitting there and you don't know what it's waiting on and you have no idea what to do, that's extremely frustrating. I worked with the dealer and the manufacturing rep in Indiana when I bought my truck, or the regional sales guy, whatever. And they kind of told me, they said, you can get this truck, but you can't get these things. Okay. So I was like, all right, well, it wasn't a deal breaker to me. I do miss adaptive cruise control. I wish I had that in road trips. And I wish I had the tailgate because I do like the tailgate, but I took the truck anyways, right? Because I could get it because I had something by year end for taxes. I just think that automakers really need to go back and revisit that process and communicate more clearly to dealers and customers. Because if you're waiting 6 months and it turns out you're waiting for a knob or you're waiting for some feature you thought you had to have, I mean, why would you? Well, you could say, I just don't want that feature. Now I'll get the truck faster. Great, fantastic. So yeah, Bob says, I'm ready to buy a F-150, but waiting patiently for my sanity return. Sanity. As far as pricing, yeah, pricing has just been ridiculous. Outside of reviews, hey Tim, love your channel. Hey, thanks, buddy. Outside of reviews, I'm gonna make a note. I'll check out your channel too. Outside of reviews, we'll see what those are going. The new GMC is a very nice truck off road. My brother just got a new GMC Canyon. He's in love with it. Every time I talk to him, he's like, he blows up my phone. I'm addicted to Tim's F-150 hybrid vehicles videos. That's my choice. That thing was awesome. The power on board, which I still understand why power on board is not a bigger thing for people. If you ever taken a generator to a campsite or seen people try to start generators in campsites, or you just plug in your truck and your truck runs in nearly silent mode versus this loud generator that barely starts. I mean, come on. When do you think they'll announce an Yukon EV? Ooh, Ojeda. He's been I'm probably saying it wrong, Ojeda. But Ojeda, I'm terrible at names. I really apologize. But I want to say one thing before I say your comment. You've been on the channel for a long time there, buddy, and I really do appreciate your support. Because I think you've been live streams over the years, and looking at the image, thank you for your service. And so, yeah, I really do appreciate that. Yukon EV, I would say soon. So they're leading off the Cadillac. Cadillac has an Escalade IQ. Is that what they're calling that thing? I got an email for it. I get keeping emails. I keep reading about it because it's something people want to know about. And I'm going to say they're going to lead off the Cadillac first, and by a year or two later, you'll see Yukons and Tahoes coming EV versions as well. I think they're leading off with their most expensive luxury versions to recap on their costs on R&D for the batteries, and then they'll finally get some more high volume EVs in the future. Although there's a debate happening today on Facebook, on a group I'm part of, about why is there such a problem with GM Ultium batteries production. It seems like that things are slow, and there's a Chevy Blazer SS, something or other, that got delayed till next year, and things keep getting delayed. So there's a question about whether the Ultium batteries are a problem or if just getting production going has been a problem, which is amazing to think about. GM, company's been doing this since 1906 or something like that, has a problem building vehicles, but it seems like there's no question. All right, Jason wants to know which half ton is the best payload. The half ton with the least amount of options. That's what it comes down to. I think that there was, in my history of doing this, I have found that Ram has the worst payload out of all the full size trucks. I will say that. I mean, it just seems like every time I get a Ram truck, the payload is just ridiculously low, and the heavy duties as well. I think that Ford, if I recall correctly, Ford offers a payload package, heavy duty payload package, which, if memory serves me right, we tried a couple years ago to find one. A fan of this channel and I tried to find one, and we found like 2 nationwide. And so if you can go to Ford dealership and order the heavy duty payload package, they call it heavy duty payload. There's a payload package for that. That's going to be the best truck with the most payload. Now, I don't know how it rides. I've only seen 2 in sales. I've never actually met somebody that had one. I think some people on the channel actually commented they actually had one. But again, it was like 2 or 3 comments on like a 100 comment stream that somebody had one. So if you're looking for that, very low volume, if you want the best payload, just don't get options. And so, a lot of them talk about 2,000 pounds of payload or more. If you do that, it's really low options kind of stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot, depends how much option. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are backing me up on payload. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think a 32 two-wheel drive F-150 with a 5.0 liter V8 has 3,325 pounds of payload. I don't know about that one. Can you get a short bed and a 2-door? No. That's in a question. It's a cafe thing. Once they changed to footprint, they killed that. They killed that truck because everything's based on footprint. Okay. Oh, chilling with Dylan. That's awesome. Chilling with Dylan, who's got a chin rub like I do in my facial expressions. Which, by the way, I found out today there's a plugin you can do on Chrome, Google Chrome, the web browser, to put a picture of Mr. Beast in every thumbnail you see on YouTube. I think it's hilarious. Mr. Beast, biggest YouTuber out there. Yeah, you can take his picture and put it on any thumbnail out there. Chilling with Dylan says, the new Canyon, Colorado, Tacoma, or Ranger Raptor? Such a hard choice. The midsize trucks are killing it. Good luck. Holy cow! I think I said in the video I did with the Tacoma or Colorado, one of the two. I literally said in the video, I said, if you're shopping for a mid-sized truck, want to know what's best? Good luck. Absolutely good luck. They are all solid. The Ranger Raptor, and I would love the Ranger Raptor in that green metallic kind of color, that nightshade green, I think they call it. Oh my goodness, it looked amazing. Tacoma. I think about thinking about buying Tacoma. I'm thinking about buying all of them actually. I thought about buying them all. But I thought about buying Tacoma this year because it was the hottest truck out there. I was thinking to myself, sorry, I like saying that. Which Tacoma would you buy? And I thought to myself, I don't know. I don't know which version. I want the Trail Hunter, but you can't get the Trail Hunter this year because Toyota does a stupid thing, and they always produce the gas engine first, then hybrid later, which is just ridiculous because the ones you want, the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter, don't come out until next year. And the way YouTube works is if you don't get the Tacoma this year, and everybody else gets it, like TFL gets it, and everybody else, the bigger channels get it, and small channels get it too. If they go buy one, then you miss out on the initial content on the Tacoma. If you wait for the Trail Hunter, you get some traffic, but not as much as you would if you had bought just the basic Tacoma. The Ranger, I thought about buying the Ranger. I actually like the Limited, and somebody got mad at me because I didn't do the XLT more in the video than Limited. Unlimited looked freaking amazing. So I'm sorry about that, but I was really blown away with Limited. And maybe I'm getting older. I just like more luxury interiors and more luxury finishes. But I thought it looked really good, and the XLT looked really good too. And the fact I could sit in. Here's the thing: the fact that all of these trucks I can get in and actually fit in and drive and see myself driving is amazing. The Canyon, my brother just got a Denali Canyon. He freaking loves it. He got a heavy duty. He's had full size, and he says the Canyon, the engine just goes. He just amazing powertrain, and everybody gets in it, says they did a great job. And I tell people, I told him, I said, that's only a 4-banger, and he's like, yeah. And I said, it's a turbo. He goes, oh, turbo. And I've said to people in the comments in the channel a dozen times, different ways. Yes, it's a 4-banger in the Colorado Canyon. Get over it. That turbo is amazing, and it's built as a turbocharged engine. So it's not a 4-banger. It's a turbocharged engine. And unless you experience it, you won't get it, because this is not 1989 all over again. This is a 4-banger that actually has some guts. I want to drive. And the other part of your question, Dylan's tough, is that looking at this list, I've driven the Canyon, I've driven the Colorado, I haven't driven the Ranger Raptor at all, and I haven't driven the Tacoma. So that's the hard part of that question right now today. Is there are no driving impression videos out there now? Do I think Tacoma powertrain is going to be good? Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot better in prior generation. I think Sheldon did an amazing job in that truck, and I believe in him doing a good job in that powertrain. Do I think the Raptor and Ranger Raptor is gonna be awesome? Yeah. I mean, look at the Bronco Raptor. Look at the Bronco with the 2.7 in it. It's a great powertrain, and I had no problems with it at all. And so yeah, no issue there. So I believe Ford did a good job in their powertrain too. The 10-speed in the Ford is still up in the air. Is it a 10-speed in Ranger? You guys would correct me in the comments. But the 10-speed has been like hit or miss. But I think Ford's learned and they've adapted, and I just don't have any qualms about that. And that's the thing that's interesting is that people say to me, well, how can you do the 2.7 in Colorado? And that's a brand new powertrain. I'm like, is it? Is it really? It's been out for 4 years now. And I think that's a great part of these new midsize trucks is there's no question like it's a brand new powertrain, never used it before. No, a lot of cases they've done this powertrain before. They're just putting the powertrain vehicles in there. So there's not like this question about is it proven, because it's been out for a while. Now, is it proven for 200,000 miles through the Mojave Desert, started up in the cold every morning, ran to the oil, ran out? No, I don't know if that's proven that far. Are these million-mile trucks? It's a very interesting question. I've had that question come up quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get a million-mile turbocharged truck. I don't know. I don't. If I get a chance to do a video on it, I will. During COVID, I had a guy with a 2.7 Ford F-150 down in Georgia, had like 450,000 miles in a truck. And then COVID hit, and I lost his contact information, and just things went to hell. But I wanted to do his video. I want to do a video on his story because, again, these are not 1980s turbos. A lot better, and things have changed. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Dan wants to know, I wonder if manufacturers will lower the prices this fall. They need to make room for 2024s. You know, if dealers have inventory at this point, I think they will knock down pricing. I don't think you're going to see much change in pricing. From what I'm seeing, everything's getting more expensive to build, especially hybrids and plug-in hybrids and battery power stuff. So, if you're looking at like the power boost, I think it's going to be more expensive because lithium pricing is soaring. And lithium impacts not only battery pricing, but there's also a lot of issues with semiconductor chips and payroll, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see an end to truck pricing going up. Every time we did Jill did a news story. Oh, let me pull it up for you guys. She did a news story on this, and it was about the Maverick. Oh, yeah, this was interesting. So, sorry, sidebar, as you guys get used to me doing this. So, on pickuptrucktalk.com, Jill did a story on the Ford Maverick, and I want to go down below because I was just fascinated the way she did a story. She did a chart. So, the Ford Maverick pricing went up higher, and we confirmed this with Ford that the base powertrain now is a 2.0 liter EcoBoost, not the hybrid. And again, the reason why the hybrid is not the base powertrain anymore is because lithium pricing has gone up. Batteries are more expensive to build, and so they've changed that. And so the Lariat hybrid has a $5,135 price increase, where the XL EcoBoost is only $160. So $5,000 more for the Lariat hybrid, and the XL EcoBoost, which is not a hybrid, is $160 more increase. That's really interesting. So, so if you look at a chart, she laid out the price changes. So if you look at 2022, the XL hybrid, which is their base trim level, was $21,490. I know they said under 20, but once you do destination fees, that kind of stuff. So looking at 2022, 21,000. Let me round it up. $21,500. 2023 is $24,800, and 2024 is $26,500. So it went up incrementally, but if you look at 2022 versus 2024, it's up $5,000 in just 2 years. The EcoBoost, which is not the hybrid version, is up $2,400. I think I said it correctly. The XL hybrid is the hybrid. EcoBoost is if I said it incorrectly, I apologize. Is up $2,420. So the hybrid is up double the price of the gas version, and the same thing applies to the XLT hybrid, and the XLT EcoBoost is up almost 2 to 1. And the Lariat hybrid and the Lariat EcoBoost is actually the same, and it's up $8,000. So year over year, it doesn't look that bad. But once you look at when it first came out versus where it is now, it's up a lot. And I would say it comes down to the battery, which is what Don McKenzie said. Let's see. So yeah, Don McKenzie, Ford Truck Communications Manager, says capacity constraints on batteries for the hybrid continue to be a challenge because they still can't build enough of these trucks. This new offering strategy will help us better manage customer orders and accommodate all programs that use this engine, Maverick, Escape, and the Kuga, which is a European SUV. So what they're basically doing is saying, we're going to raise pricing to hopefully stem the demand down a little bit because we just can't build what we have. And Ford has come out and said they cannot fulfill all 2023 orders. If you order in 2023, it'll probably be a 2024 model. They can't build enough of them. And it's shocking to me is that Ford CEO Jim Farley came out and said a couple weeks ago that he just was surprised by the demand for the Maverick. Hello, you built a cheap little small pickup that has really amazing fuel economy for like $20,000. Yeah, people want that. People are tired of paying $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 for a half-ton truck when it gets the same fuel economy it did 10 years ago. So yeah, things have changed a little bit. I just was blown away by their thought process there, and I'm just shocked that a company the size of Ford could miss that. So, any news on 2024 Ridgeline? You know what? That's a good question. I haven't heard anything on Honda Ridgeline. I know that 2023 they made slight changes. They made the HPD package on it, but no, I haven't heard anything new. Right now, the problem right now is it's July. Frankly, July PR people are on break. Automakers are on breaks. Nobody's in the office, so we don't hear much about 2024 until the 1st of August, mid-August, until the model year changed over in September. So right now it's July. And I'll have to tell you a different story, but it's just July. That's what happens. We have really slow news days. Yes, what happens. All right. It is a hunting truck. Jason talks about the Ford Bronco, the Patton. It could be a hunting truck. You could actually, yeah, interesting. Stand up and look at that stuff. All right, let's see. So J Ray says, I only look at powertrain warranties. Other than that, the manufacturer's going to pick and choose what they want to cover. It's not a deal breaker for me either way. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I've never actually shopped for a truck based on warranty. Just curious. Jill is with some family members tonight. She's doing a thing. The warranty help sales. So Gene is here again. Help. Thank you, Gene. Gene's been a really big part of this channel for years. The warranty help sales members push that engine when it's not on the lot. Oh yeah, if salesmen are gonna say, "Oh, it's got a great warranty," oh, go buy that great warranty. And I'm always like, well, if you stood behind it, you didn't need a good warranty. But then people are like, we stood behind a product, we gave an amazing warranty. Back and forth. Yeah, GM probably upped the warranty due to horrid 8-speed last gen to boost sales. Yeah, the 8-speed was. I've heard a lot of really good comments on that. All right, what about the 2.7 F-150 that has leaking plastic oil pan? Trouble Ford, shame on you. Oh, I'm thinking now. Oh, I know what I was thinking about. You said a 2.7 F-150. I was thinking about the Chevy. We broke news here on the channel. Breaking news. We broke news that the Chevy Silverado 2.7 is going to go away from plastic to a metal oil pan because of the fact that they were able to get more volume of metal. I think it literally came down to the fact they could not get enough volume of metal oil pans, which sounds weird to me. But I remember talking to Toyota about this, and Toyota ran out of fiberglass. And they're like, how do we run out of fiberglass? They ran out. The automakers are running out of stuff left and right. It's just amazing what they're running out of. So Bob says, all new 2023 F-150 said the heating steering wheel is removed. All of them. Yeah. None of the parts. Chip shortages. Yep. Ooh, Alex. Let's talk about Alex. Alex says, I'm stuck between the Tundra Platinum or a loaded GMC Sierra Elevation. Help me decide. Ooh, interesting. So, loaded GMC Elevation, Tundra Platinum. Let's see. You get more engine choices at GMC Sierra Elevation. Probably get a better price point, too, I think, for the money. The loaded GMC Sierra Elevation. I've had that come up a few times. People are not wanting to go full Denali. They want to go loaded up instead. And so I would think that you probably flip a coin. To be frank with you, that is a tough decision. We've had some quality issues with the new Tundra, which is unfortunate because they're using them for quality. The GMC Sierra and the 5.3 liter has had some lifter issues at times. I don't know if that's gone away now or not. I've been reporting out a couple years now. It seems like it's gone away a little bit. Just depends what the comments you see, what forum you're on. Yeah. Other people comment on that. They can let me know. Why hasn't Ford put the power boost in the Expedition? That's a solid question, Matt. Why haven't they? Why? I think it comes down to sales volume. I think it really comes down to sales volume. I think people just aren't buying the power boost at a high enough rate of sales to make them think about putting in other vehicles. Again, when I had the power boost, I didn't care about the hybrid powertrain, the fuel economy. It never was better fuel economy. Actually, the 2.7 gets better fuel economy than the power boost does in many applications. It's just the power on board. And when they did the heavy duties, they did a 2.0 kilowatt power on board for that, which I think is better. And so I feel like customers need to start demanding power on board. And it's a small niche part of the population that wants it. But when I've read the comments of my old Power Boost videos, and I've read the comments of people that have chimed in and sent me emails, people that have the Power Boost, they freaking love the power on board. I haven't had one person now email me and say, oh, I love the fuel economy of Power Boost. No. It's all about, I want the power on board. And my thing is, I want power on board and want zone lighting. Zone lighting is a shit. It just is. That'd be great. Let's see. Eric wants to know, would the 3-liter diesels by GM be a bad idea if I only drive 15 miles to and from work as main city driver? Nope, not at all. I think that's old school diesel thinking. The newer diesels can do short trips. I did a whole video on this. from GM's standpoint. And I've driven my 3-liter around town, 15 miles all day long. I never had an issue with it. Never wanted to do an issue. And I know I don't keep vehicles long enough. I get it, the criticism on that, but no, I don't think so. The other thing I flip to you, think about this too, is in Europe, diesels are more commonly used over there, and there's a lot of cars over there that are using diesels as daily commuters. Is it different in the United States? Yes. Do they have emissions equipment in Europe? Yes, they do. The Euro 6 standards are pretty stiff versus the EPA standards. And actually, some people have told me, and I haven't done the research on it, but they've told me that the Euro 6 is even more stringent the EPA can be at times. And so, globally, people drive diesels short run all the time. But for some reason, in the United States, we think, oh no, you have to drive long distances. You got to burn that stuff out. You got to sit and idle. You got to sit idle, and you have to sit and wait for the turbos to cool down. All this kind of stuff happens. And it's so funny to me. Years ago, I was in Moline with GM engineers, and we're driving we're towing some stuff from the John Deere facility. We're towing some trailers with the heavy duties. We went to the Iowa I-80, which is one of the biggest truck stops in America. And if you've never been there, it's kind of cool. They have a cool power wagon inside, which is really nice. But yes, we're sitting there, and I walked in with the engineers. I said, look, all these diesels idling. And the engineers are going, why are they idling their diesels? And I said, that's the way they've always been taught, is that you never turn your diesel off, you let it idle. And the engineers were just like, and maybe they weren't I wasn't talking to the redneck engineers. I was talking to the newer engineers. And they're just like, why would you ever do that? And it's interesting, when I did the video on the short trips, if you look at the comments, 9-1 or 10-1 kind of the comments came out of that, in my view, my reading it, I shouldn't say 10-1, maybe 2-1, whatever, was from diesel mechanics who told me in the comments that they never found short tripping was a problem. They found the reverse. Idling for too long was the biggest problem with diesel trucks. And I've always grew up in Michigan. I've been in Nebraska now for about 15 years. Been in Denver. I've always been taught to idle a diesel. And what I'm hearing now is, with newer diesel technology, or maybe something changed, whatever, is do not idle a diesel. Don't idle a diesel at all. And that's just shocking to me, because I know people right now in the comments, I guarantee you're going to get keyboards going, Tim, you're full of it. Idle a diesel 15 years, no problem. I get it. I hear that. I hear it. But what I'm hearing now more so than not is, don't idle your diesel. Drive your diesel. Drive your diesel to store and back. Drive 15 miles, drive 10 miles, drive whatever you got to drive. But don't sit and idle it. And because that idling causes more problems, because I guess the engine can't work out all the carbon buildup or the soot from the emissions, because you're just sitting there idling. You got to get throttle. You got to get a little bit more acceleration. That's my understanding of it. Again, go with that. Let me know. Unsubscribe, hate me, whatever. But that's what I'm hearing from people in the comments. I'm hearing from GM engineers, and I'm hearing from Ford engineers. Everybody's saying the same thing. Arash. God darn it. I think I got it right. Arash. Again, terrible names. Tim, which is one is your choice? F-150 hybrid or GM Duramax 3-liter? Oh, I get this question all the time. Duramax, fuel economy, flat out. You want fuel economy? Duramax. If you want features, you want the F-150. You want the power on board, you want zone lighting. It's a flip of the coin. It depends what you're buying it for. I tell you what, I enjoyed both trucks really well, and I really had a good time with both of them. And I like the diesel because I drive distances, and I love the fact every time I get into it, drive around, the fuel economy numbers are always outstanding, no matter what I do. Do I miss power on board? Yeah, I do. I'm going camping in a couple weeks, and I'd love to have power on board. I mean, we're going to do camper camping, not tent camping. I get the differences, but I like power on board a lot. I like zone lighting a lot. Zone lighting was the most underrated feature of a new truck I've seen in decades. And so, yeah, the only thing I would tell you on the Ford I got bored with, because the driving got numb after walks. And this sounds so stupid, but it drove like a car. It was so quiet and so smooth. It drove like a car. And for me, I just wanted more of a truck. And so the Duramax is a lot more of a truck to me, because it just rides a little more like a truck. And so it's dumb thing to say. Yeah, absolutely. You take me to woodwork on that one. But it's just, that's the way I felt towards the end of it. And so I've said this multiple times to people, the Chevy Silverado outside with the 3-liter diesel is the best half-ton engine I've ever seen. Full stop, period, done. 30 miles per gallon driving from Montrose to my house over a Vale Pass Eisenhower Tunnel was just amazing. I've never seen another half-ton engine do that. Is it the one I would always buy forever? I don't know. I mean, the hybrid was really cool with, like I said, power board and the zone lighting and the other features to it. And it was kind of cool driving electric mode only and be quiet and kind of. It's a game you play with the throttle that when the engine kicks on, it doesn't kick on. But it's what you want from the truck. Do you want to have the fuel economy? Do you want to have the, features? Jason says this 22 Tundra only has 1,495 pounds. He says that's terrible in all caps. Jason, my Silverado outside, I think it's got 1,500. I mean, and I don't have sunroof or anything in that thing. I don't know what number you need it to be, but I just don't know. I don't know what. Yeah. So yeah, 22 Ram only has 1,318 pounds of payload capacity. I wish there was a way on the build and price tool on these manufacturer websites to actually get the number for the payload for that truck. They do max towing, but they should, when you go to build and price, you should be able to like say, I'm going to add a sunroof, and the computer says, add a sunroof cost you $1,000, whatever, but you're going to drop payload by 50 pounds, right? I think that automakers have the data. It's in charts. They know it. They need to plug it into their build and price tools so that when you build and price a truck, you can actually say, oh man, if I get the luxury seats and I get the sunroof and I get the whatever option, I can't tow my boat now. I mean, that should be a decision maker we're making on these trucks. You should be able to do that. And I also believe that payload number should be a searchable option on like cars.com, cargurus.com, whatever, Vroom, whatever site you use for buying cars. Payload should be a searchable option. You should be able to say, I want to buy a truck that has 1,600 pounds payload, 1,800 pounds payload, whatever, in a half ton, and be able to click that button, and it should sort those and eliminate ones that have less payload. And I've talked about it on the channel a few times. People don't understand payload. People always overload their trucks. They don't understand what's going on. If we made payload more of a searchable item and more public, we'd have more people that would say, hey, maybe I do need more payload. Maybe I understand stuff. And it was interesting because there was the new GMC Sierra, I believe, as well, and a Chevy Silverado, maybe two. They have a new gross vehicle weight monitor warning. So the truck will determine if you're overloaded. They'll actually tell you, hey, we're overloaded. And then I know it. Actually, it wasn't that one. Is that one? The Ford F-150 has a payload scale built in the truck, and so what it does, it lights up the LED lights in the back and also in the information screen about how much payload you have, whether you're overloaded or not. And somebody very smartly in the comments said, if the truck would tell you that you're overloading your truck by the lights and the LED lights or in the menu system, then we all understand why we need 3/4 tons. And I was like, that's spot on, because people are making half tons do what 3/4 tons are built for, and not understanding why they're dragging their ass driving around with the back tailgate down, and they're not understanding why they're doing more damage to tires, more damage to suspension. And somebody said, yeah, like, you know what? It's all about the fact that you're doing. If you gave customers information about how much they're overloading their trucks, we'd all be buying bigger trucks. Pretty spot on. When will Ram release news about the new Ram updates? John Franklin, that's usually Ram used to have this really cool. Stellantis did a really cool event for years and years. They called it What's New Event. It was in Michigan, end of June, and we had all the details then. We haven't done that in several years because of COVID and there's things going on, whatever. But typically, the Ram news is out mid-August. Most stuff is all out mid-August. When is the GMC 2500 AT4X coming to marketplace? They announced that, right? To the market. So usually by year end, if they announce something in July, usually by the end of the year, you'll see one or two. It's going to be tough to get much more than that. Almost bought a Raptor. Went to Gladiator instead. Been hearing rumors that Chevy having a 1500 two-wheel drive short bed, kind of like the old 454 SS. It's not going to happen. It's CAFE rules. So during the Obama administration, they changed the way CAFE was calculated to save footprint. And so CAFE emissions is corporate average fuel economy. It's based on how big the vehicle is. So I'm going to take my legal pad here. And if you have a vehicle that's this size, you can get this much fuel economy. If you go smaller with the vehicle, you have to get better fuel economy, right? So if you take a truck and you give the truck the 5.3 liter V8, and it's a full size legal pad, I guess whatever legal pad is, and if you say 5.3 liter V8 gets 20 miles per gallon, okay, great. And if you said, hey, I'm going to make this a 2-wheel drive short bed, and I go over here, I have to now, it's got to get better fuel economy because now it's a shorter wheelbase vehicle. And because it's a shorter wheelbase vehicle, it's got to get better fuel economy. Well, automakers are like, we can't do that. We can't just automatically get better fuel economy because we get a little bit shorter, because the bed doesn't weigh anything. The physics aren't changing. And so that's why you saw a bunch of trucks start going crew cab only. You saw trucks go, the regular cab kind of went away in a way, and that you weren't able to order them as well. You got to see them as well. Well, they were like, oh, consumers want the bigger truck. And they want yeah and no. The problem was wheelbase. You know, if you could build a truck that was bigger, it got the same fuel economy as a shorter truck, then you did better with CAFE and emissions. That's what it comes down to. And you think about, you know, these automakers like Stellantis paid like, what was it, several $1 million in fines? They've been paying fines for decades now on emissions. You imagine, like, if you're in business and you go to sell a taco, and every time you sell a taco, you make $2 in profit, but you got to pay the government $1 because you exceeded the number of tacos you sold that day. Well, that's going to piss you off after a while, right? And so are you going to still offer the bigger trucks or the smaller trucks if you got to pay $1 every time you sell one? No, you're not going to. That's just about, you know, and I've said different videos and different things I've done over the years, is that I think eventually you'll see different cab configurations go away. Does Ford still offer them? Yes. Can you find them? Not really. Why? Because they're not letting dealerships really order them. They're delaying them. They're limiting the supply, right? So if I still have to sell short bed trucks and I'm going to sell crew cab and extended cab, you know, I may let the plant build 75% crew cabs and maybe 5% regular cabs. I may not build as many. And then you can't find as many. Dealers can't order as many. And then you stop buying as many. And then the automaker's like, hey, we still offer it, though. We still offer the choices for the customers. But you can't buy one. So are they really offering that or not? Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Holy cow, I'm still behind. You guys are like glowing with comments while I'm doing my thing. Oh, my goodness. I want to talk about this one. You guys can give me more hour here. Jim's going to be like, what the hell? All right. Somebody, Elliot says, somebody want buyers thinking, why don't you make your mind quick on build configuration? Yeah. Oh, Jason, I have the exact same camper you have, Tim, and I pull 22 Tundra, tons of power suspension, so that's great. So, by the way, that's my cousin's camper. I always borrow a camper. I want to buy a camper, but every time I go to buy a camper, our lives change, and like we're going camping once a summer because of our lives. Our kids are young and they want to be on the YouTubes and they want to be playing video games, and I travel enough. My wife travels too. She's gone this week. She's gone last week. I mean, it's just I want to go camping more, but I just really don't have time. Andrew Ramirez says, oh, I want to get to this one. So, fun fact: I have a Mercedes-Benz plug-in hybrid EV outside, and so I want to get to this because I want to get a couple things. First of all, we talked about plug-in hybrid EVs, which this is not Andrew's question. Hold on, Andrew. I'll get your question. We talk about plug-in hybrid EVs. People ask me for years, why is there not a diesel version of a plug-in hybrid, right? So you get the exceptional fuel economy of a diesel, plus you get the plug-in hybrid version, which means you get like 20 miles of range. In this case, that Mercedes-Benz gets 60 miles of range. 60. Driving all week on electric power. I've been driving the big electric golf cart around. It's been really kind of interesting. So, interesting. So there is a diesel plug-in hybrid Mercedes-Benz for sale in Europe. And if anybody from Europe is watching, if anybody from England is watching, France, whatever, Elliot, I know you're watching. If you guys can go down a rabbit hole for me, I've been trying to get. I was doing some research on it that day. I didn't get to it. It's a Mercedes-Benz that they offer an SUV and a plug-in hybrid diesel. I've been trying to do calculations with Euro pricing and Euro numbers to figure out whether it's better fuel economy and what you get for the dollar. Like, or Eurodollar or whatever. So anybody from Europe, from England, whatever, comment below, please, dealer, whatever. I want to know how much more money it is versus a regular diesel hybrid gas, because they make a hybrid gas and they make a diesel hybrid as well. But they're not plugins, but they're just diesel. There's a diesel hybrid and there's a gas hybrid. And I want to know how much more money they are, and I want to know how much payload they lose, and I want to know what the Euro numbers work out to be. I went to Mercedes-Benz website and I goofed it and did a England thing, trying to crack the code, and I didn't do it. So Andy wants to know, do you think diesel Super Duty hybrid would ever happen? Because I've heard there are hybrid diesel trains. There are hybrid diesel trains. It would work. It's cost. It's cost, and it's that's why I'm kind of alluding to with the other thing. It's cost and it's weight. So a battery weighs quite a bit, and diesel F-250 and F-350 owners want more payload. They don't want to sacrifice with having a battery. Also, there's a lot of long-standing discussion within the automotive world that people don't care about fuel economy with a Super Duty and heavy-duty trucks. I think it's bull, but automakers still believe this. They don't believe that most customers who buy a Super Duty or a GMC heavy duty, a Chevy heavy duty, Ram heavy duty care about fuel economy. They don't think that's a big buying reason. And I don't know. I don't agree with that, but that's what they're thinking. So that's why you won't see one. Cost, weight, and they don't think there's any demand for it, which is frustrating to me, because if you did the diesel Super Duty hybrid, you could actually do the power on board, and you could actually go off-grid camping for an extended period of time by running off the truck's diesel tank, which is probably what you're getting to with that question. But yeah, they don't think it's going to work out. Brian Shirley wants to know, who's been a fan of the channel. Thank you, Brian. Is that why midsize trucks become so long and no better gas mileage than full size? Yes. Yep. That's why there's only crew cab midsize. Cafe. It's cafe and emissions. If you look back, it's unintended. So I go a little politically here, but I think I don't like any of our politics. I've liked our politics for decades now, and I just get so frustrated with politics. But what I get frustrated about politics is the unintended consequences of those politics. In that, when the Obama administration, wasn't Obama, it was the EPA people at that time and the NHTSA people at that time, which are probably still in office. They're still there. I mean, they're still people. Their career people working for the government, if that's your career. They came up with footprint, thinking that if you read back in the documents, which I've read the cafe documents, trust me, you want a big bottle of whiskey or a big pot of coffee reading those damn things. Government speak is just ridiculous. But their theory was that people would only buy vehicles based on fuel economy. And so if they made a footprint and were able to measure all vehicles in a similar footprint versus a variety of factors like there were before, that they would get more efficient vehicles. What happened was, the byproduct of that is that automakers just built bigger vehicles. Because again, if you have a legal size of paper and you can build a vehicle that gets this much fuel economy and meet the numbers, why would you go smaller? Why not just go bigger? If you go bigger, you have a bigger range of fuel economy. So if I took a full size truck and made from 2012 was the office 2012, 2010, whatever, and I made it bigger and I got the same fuel economy I did in 2010, then I win. Why go smaller? And so look at the mid-size trucks, who are factored in the equation quite a bit as well. Why build an extended cab, regular cab? Because you're going to pay penalties on it. Why not just build a crew cab? Oh, Tim, crew cab, that's because people love crew cabs. That's the only thing they're buying. Yeah, has the automotive market changed? Yes, there is some truth to that as well. People are using the mid-size trucks and full-size trucks as family haulers. I totally get it. But cafe plays a major role in that as well. Because again, why would you build something you got to pay a fine on? That makes no sense at all. And so that's where you're seeing the trucks have gotten bigger. SUVs gotten bigger. Yukon's gotten bigger. Tahoe's gotten bigger for no other reason besides just better economy. Now, is it better? Better for people? Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I've said in different videos as well that people have gotten bigger. Mr. Willman, who you'll see on his channel many times, him and I are talking today. There's an old fast food place here in town. It's been in place, I'm gonna guess, since the 30s and 40s. I've never been to it. It's an old school local place. The bathrooms in that place are the size of a gym locker in my high school. That's how big I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's the size of these bathrooms. And that's because in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, that was good enough, right? But now that my My friend Mr. Millman, I mean, he's like 6'3", 6'4", and he's like probably 250, whatever. He has a hard time going to the bathroom in Scotty's. He does. It's a small situation. Can he get in there and close the door? That's a question by itself, right? So people have gotten bigger, and as people have gotten bigger, wider, taller, whatever you want to say, you are seeing that vehicles have gotten bigger, and because of that, people want more room. Look at Shaquille O'Neal. He bought a freaking like medium duty truck because the only thing that fit him, right? The fact he fits in a Buick is complete garbage. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Randy Best says trains don't worry about payload. Yeah, because they just keep adding it more and more. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Robert Torres, what about smaller turbo V8s for increasing the payload issue for both heavy duties or half tons? They're doing a small displacement V8, V6s. It'd be an interesting question. If you guys know in the comments below, put them down below. I haven't looked at a comparison between a small, so like say Chevy Silverado, right? Let's just say, or Ford F-150. What's the payload difference between the 3.5 liter EcoBoost versus the 5.0 liter V8? Truck to truck, similar comparison. Interesting. Don't buy a camper, rent or borrow. Absolute money bets, as Baylor says. Actually, we rent. I rent campers all the time. Outdoorsy.com. You can sponsor me. Yeah, so I would do that all day long. Let's see. I think that's it. I think I caught up. Yeah, so Gene says regular cab, midsize truck with 8-foot bed would have the same length as crew cab. The thing to figure out, the thing about with midsize trucks is it's really about length. Automakers are very, very touchy about length with a midsize truck. Like number one and number two buying reason for a midsize truck is length. And so, yeah, you're right. Regular cab, midsize truck with 8-foot bed would have the same length as a crew cab. But popularity plus cafe plus all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting debate. That's my viewpoint on it. It's my viewpoint. Clem says midsize are same size as older full-size trucks. When I get my 62 back, my 1962 was a full-size truck. It's actually shorter than the new crew cab Colorado. Did the new Tundras getting closer to the EPA ratings than the F-150 3.5 liter EcoBoost? And town only can average 15 miles per gallon. My 2021 Lariat with 3.5, which is Brian Shirley says. My answer is nope. I don't. I guess I've said this many times, but I'll say it again. I believe that the smallest turbocharged engines are more fun to drive. You have more horsepower and torque at lower RPMs. You have more performance off the line. You get less emissions. But I've never gotten the fuel economy. I can't get the fuel economy of those, which is why I love my diesel. Because I get the fuel economy every time on the diesel, which again blows my mind because I can't get the other ones in fuel economy. Oh, and my son's here. My son's I arrived. So yeah, I can't get it. That's why Sonic's getting rid of the V8 in the cars for that new 6 Hurricane engine. Too many fines, having to spend millions of carbon credits from Tesla. Yeah, V8s. If you look at my video on why the V8 went away in the Tundra, which I think is still a mistake. I did a video on why it's a mistake, and I got my had to eat and whatever a bunch of humble pie. If you look at the video on why the 3.5 versus the 5.7 liter V8, the carbon's dropped by like 40 or 50% emissions. And whether or not you agree with carbon emissions, whether you think it's all baloney, I'm not going to argue that. I'm just going to say automakers are being judged on carbon emissions, and that's the bottom line. That's what they care about. Okay. Oh, wow. Hour and 15 minutes. Good thing Jill wasn't here. She gave me the stink eye. So let's see. Any of the comments, put them down below. I'll be checking these later on tonight or first thing in the morning. Check those out as well. On the website, to pickuptrucktalk.com, and the videos here on the channel. As always, thanks for being a supporter. I really do appreciate it. My family appreciates it. With your help, this channel has become something that I'm really proud of. And I thank you for that. So, as always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.